to our go live this evening for our deep stretch. We're going to start here in a couple minutes. I'm going to drop the link for our playlist in the comments here. And so if you want to begin to get yourself set up, balls, I don't use a Mac, so this is fun. Welcome to whoever is chiming in. Oh, looks like we have several folks on the line. Hello, friends. Welcome to our Practice Any Go Live with our deep stretch this evening. I am dropping a link for our playlist in the comments here. Nope, that doesn't work either. Good times, good times. Can I paste? Aha! Nailed it, nailed it. All right, there you go for some music. Let me get us set up here. Welcome, friends. We do need several props this evening, although I'm going to give you some options as we go through things. So first things first, you will want a couple of blankets or a couple of towels. They'll just help you be a little more comfortable. We'll use them to help prop us up. We'll use it also in place of some other things if you need to. If you have a yoga strap, this would be a great practice for using that. We'll bring it in towards the end. If you don't have a yoga strap, then a blanket or a towel or even a lanyard is a great option. You just really need to be able to get something around the arch of your foot that has reach to both of your hands. So that's another option for that. And then if you have a bolster, you can use a bolster. Otherwise, a sleeping pillow is a great option. I like these over accent pillows because they're longer, and we'll use those with our blankets as well. So I'll give you just another minute to get set up. If you're just now joining us, we have a playlist link in the comments if you want to put on some healing music in addition to my cueing. And deep stretch is an opportunity for us to really have some spaciousness and some connectivity with ourselves and our bodies. And with that, we tend to have this very mental focus through everything that we do in our lives. We strategize, we analyze, we want to set ourselves up for success. But there's this mentality of doing more is more, right? Like we should be efforting more or doing more or producing or achieving. And so when we come to our yoga practice, we tend to think of the heavy physical asana practice. We tend to think of how can I really challenge myself on the mat. And those are beautiful elements of practice. If that really speaks to you and resonates with you, that's an amazing practice and an amazing, movement is so brilliant. And there's also this opportunity as we move through things to understand that actually sometimes spaciousness is really required, and that we can do more by accomplishing or accomplish more by doing less. That actually we need an element of breath, we need an element of spaciousness to begin to open again. And so this is a beautiful practice for that. It's a beautiful practice to stretch, to release tension, stress, anxiety, to really untangle all of these elements that kind of build up in our day-to-day lives, and to come back to ourselves in a really connective, really nourishing way. So with all of that said, we're going to dive deep into our deep stretch this evening. We're going to begin on the wall. So if you are not currently placed near a wall or near maybe a larger piece of furniture where you can prop your legs up, I'm going to invite you to move to that space now. And we're going to begin with legs up the wall. And so as we do that, you're going to bring your hip on one side, right or left, doesn't really matter. You're going to bring your hip directly next to the wall. And Once you're fully next to it, you're going to come down on your back and extend your legs up to the sky. So some people, for some this is very comfortable, for other people not so much. So let me give you some options. If you're noticing some really heavy constriction in the low back, you might use one of your blankets to prop underneath the low back. If keeping your legs really straight is causing a lot of tension or constriction in the hamstrings, if your glutes, your hamstrings are really tight, then I'm going to invite you to bring the soles of your feet together and just create a little spaciousness in the knees. You don't need to lock your legs. This is not, a pressure test to see how far you can be there. You just want to begin to let all of this energy and all of this blood flow, this inversion here, begin to nourish you. So finding your legs at the wall, finally coming to a position of rest. Begin to connect to the wave of your breath, the rhythm and the presence of your heartbeat. Perhaps bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. As you breathe in, feel your body move and open and expand. As you invite the breath deep into your body, into your belly, into the pelvic bowl, with each exhalation, letting the breath be long. With each inhalation, following the sensation and the pathways of the breath. Noticing how the breath is a little cooler on the inhalation around the nostrils. Noticing how the breath travels in through the nose, down through the throat, into the chest, the collarbones, as the lungs expand, filling up down deep into the belly, into the diaphragm. Noticing the hips and the pelvis beginning to expand at the fullness of the breath. And as you exhale, noticing the dance of the breath leaving the body. And just let your attention and awareness rest there. Remembering that you have nowhere to be, no thing to do, that being right here in your body with your breath is more than enough. Let yourself feel and experience 3 more really deep, full rounds of breath right here, right now. And as you come to the end of that 3rd breath, Begin to point through your right toes, flexing through your left toes, and then switching sides, pointing through the left, flexing through the right ankle. Just beginning to invite some other movement. Then put a deep bend in both of your knees so that the soles of your feet find the wall. On your next exhale, bring your left ankle to your right knee. Flexing through this left ankle, energetically and physically bringing that left knee towards the wall. And if you want, you can gently bring your left hand to your left thigh and help it in that direction, being mindful to not push to the point of pain, to not push to the point of extreme discomfort, but simply inviting a little more opening. And if you want to take this deeper, you can slide that right foot down the wall, getting deeper into that left hip. Once again, inviting the breath deep into the body. Letting your intention and purpose be to simply lengthen the breath and rest in the inhalation and exhalation. If you notice any areas of tension or constriction, particularly in the hips, we tend to hold a lot in those muscles and that density within us. And so sometimes postures like this can be a lot, and they can be challenging to simply stay present in them. One, because maybe we're feeling elements of discomfort. And two, because sometimes when we're really getting into these spaces, it's sort of like our mind wants to play hot potato with whatever might be surfacing underneath in our tissues. And so if you notice yourself distracted by any thoughts, let there be some spaciousness in your response, feeling free to simply release any judgment or criticism in the moment of awareness, perhaps even letting a smile spread across the lips. And let yourself gently come back to the sensations in the tissues and inviting the breath into areas of any tension or constriction, or even any areas of disconnection. The breath becomes a tool for yoking us in that space. Two more rounds of breath here. And then begin to straighten through the right foot, letting the left foot come up towards the sky and just gently bending one knee, then the other, perhaps even planting the soles of the feet and just doing a gentle windshield wiper from side to side. Inhaling fully, exhaling, sighing out the mouth. Then, keeping that left sole of the foot planted on the wall, bring the right ankle to the left knee, just above the left kneecap, so into that soft, fleshy tissue just above the patella. Once again, you can bring your right hand to the right thigh and helping to open through that right hip. If you want to take it even deeper, you can slide that left heel closer to your left hip, flexing through the right ankle. And then connecting to your inhale and your exhale. Letting yourself soften right where you are. Letting curiosity guide you through the tissues and the contours of your body. To feel the textures in your tissues. To feel the flow and the dance of sensation. To notice how you open and expand on the inhalation and how you release and soften on the exhalation. 2 more big full breaths here. As you find the bottom of your exhalation, extending through the left leg and then through the right leg, just gently bending through one knee, then the other. This time perhaps going wide, letting the legs fall open, just letting the groin soften. And as you exhale, bringing it back together, maybe bending through the knees, do a little gentle windshield wiper yet again. And then eventually letting yourself fall over to a side of your choice, pausing there for a couple rounds of breath, just letting yourself integrate here. Filling up through the top of the breath, pausing, sipping in even deeper, then exhale, side out the mouth. Beginning to gently press the palms into the ground, raising the torso, coming back to seated, coming back to your mat. Just coming to a gentle cross-legged pose. Let's move through a couple circles with the shoulders. So inhale, bringing the tops of the shoulders up. Exhale, sliding the shoulder blades down the back. Just letting the torso release after that inversion, switching directions, bringing those shoulder blades up the top of the back and down the front. Letting go of the breath. Now bringing the soles of the feet together, we're going to create this diamond shape with the legs. And the point here really is not to get your heels into your tailbone, although more power to you if you're quite flexible in the legs. But really to give yourself some spaciousness here. If your knees don't quite meet the ground, if they tend to stay up, you may want to grab a blanket or two and just gently roll them up and create a little more support for them. So the whole name of the game here is to support yourself, to let yourself be held in these postures, not for it to be a forcing through. So feel free to make any adjustments if you need them. As you're ready, inhale, extending through the spine. As you exhale, bring the hands to clasp on either side of the feet as you begin to gently fold over here. Being mindful not to really contract in the diaphragm, but to stay long in the spine. If if you want, you can bring your thumbs to the arches of your feet and just give them a little gentle massage. Once again, connecting with that flow of your breath, letting it be long and deep within you. Noticing how the low belly billows with the filling of the breath and how that lifts your whole torso in this posture. Letting your breath flow freely and really inviting the length of the breath into the fullness of the sacrum, of the hips, of the pelvis. If you like, you can even root your elbows into your legs and bring your thumbs to the corners of your eyebrows. So just the corner, just above the nose where your eyebrows begin, you can circle your thumbs there. And much like the massage in the arches of your feet, there's a little acupressure point there. We can get a little weird with it. And now releasing all of that additional movement. Just let yourself rest and soften right here, right now. With each inhalation, letting the spine lengthen and extend. With each exhalation, gently softening in that spaciousness created by the emptying of the breath. One more deep breath in. And one big sigh out the mouth. Gently raising through the torso, extending the legs out in front of you and just rocking through the knees. Keeping your legs extended, bring your right foot up and over your left leg, stamping that right foot on the ground. Inhale as you grow tall through the spine. As you exhale, twisting towards the right, letting your left hand hug that right leg in, or you can leverage that left arm and elbow on top of that right knee. I'm going to hug mine in. Your right hand can plant behind your spine. Flexing through that left foot, softening through the right shoulder. Let your jaw soften here. One more deep, full inhalation. As you exhale, releasing that twist, letting that right foot go out long, rocking through the knees, letting yourself move and flow. Now, letting that right leg stay extended, bring that left foot up and over. Inhale, growing tall through the spine. As you exhale, gently twisting. creating some space between the teeth, softening the brow. One more deep, full inhalation. You exhale, twisting, letting go, extending the legs, giving them a little movement. And then bringing them gently to cross, you're going to come up and over the legs. We're going to come into a tabletop position. And we're going to want some extra support for our knees. So I'm going to invite you to bring one of your folded blankets. We have it kind of folded in this longer rectangle fold. You're going to bring your knees up and over. Feeling free to shift aside any props. Planting the palms underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. We're going to move through just a little cat-cow flow. So on the inhalation, drop the belly, lift the gaze. As you exhale, you're going to press and round through the shoulders, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, crown of the head, tailbone go towards the sky. As you exhale, hollowing through the belly, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, shining the heart forward, broadening through the collarbones. As you exhale, just feeling the counter position. And coming back to that neutral spine, keep your hips directly over your knees and begin to palm your hands out in front of you, eventually melting your heart towards the ground. Now, I have this long sleeve shirt on and it is creating, there we go, some challenge to stay in this position. There we go. So melting your heart towards the ground, your forehead, or if your neck is in full flexibility mode, maybe even bringing your chin to the ground. In this heart-melting pose, feel your heartbeat connected to your mat beneath you and the earth below that. Always present, always and in all ways supporting. Feeling your torso rise and expand with the inhalation. Feeling yourself release and soften with the exhalation. Two more deep, full rounds of breath here. And then gently beginning to raise your chest, bending through your elbows, pressing your palms back underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes here and begin to lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Walls, should have taken off my socks before beginning. If you're noticing some slippage, feel free to make some adjustments here. There. Taking an opportunity to really pedal out the feet, bending through one knee, pressing, lengthening through the heel of the other foot. Taking the opportunity to bend deeply through the knees, pressing the low belly to the thighs, and then extending from there, keeping that engagement. Really bringing the hips to the back of the room, extending from the tips of your fingers through to your tailbone. Then on your next inhalation, extend the right foot to the back of the room, stepping it forward, planting it between the hands. Bringing the left knee to the mat. We're going to set up for a version of a low lunge. We're really setting up for a dragon here. So the first things first, is to really extend, bring the hips forward, squaring them to the front of your mat. If you notice here that you're having some challenge reaching the ground, you can heel toe out that right foot and come to the inside edge of that right leg. And through this back knee, you're really coming off the patella onto just the top of that knee. You can stay here, breathing into that left hip flexor. Or if you want, you can lower gently to your forearms. If you need some prop, you can bring a blanket to help prop yourself up or a bolster. And again, connect to the wave of your breath here. Give yourself permission to notice where your mind and your body go when they're in a space of deeper compression, of perhaps challenge and constriction. And know that it's okay to be right here where you are. Letting this breath, this heartbeat be enough. And inviting softening and the breath to meet you in those places where it feels difficult. The breath can be this beautiful mirror to our patterns, to understand where we are right here and now. One more deep, full round of breath. And as you exhale, begin to come back up onto your palms, gently straightening through that right leg, easing out of that stretch, heel toeing that right foot back forward. And we're just going to create a little flow coming into this lunge and then straightening through that leg into a little half split. Just opening up some movement here. Then planting your palms, you're going to bring that right knee back around to the mat, coming into that tabletop position. Let the knees go wide, let the big toes come together. Sink those hips back, child's pose. Letting yourself rest here. Letting yourself be held right where you are. On your next exhale, coming back to that tabletop position. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, coming to that down dog one more time. Really letting yourself twist through the hips. Maybe pedaling out the feet a little more. Then as you inhale, extend the left foot to the back of the room and stepping forward. You're going to ground that right knee, untuck the right toes. Squaring off into your hips, really coming off that right kneecap into the top of that right knee. And if you like, you can heel toe out those left feet. You can also take it at a more direct route. So if it's more comfortable for you to stay in this lunge position to give you more stability in that knee, stay there. But if you want to take it deeper and your hips have that flexibility, bring that left foot out. Get deep in your hips. And as you're ready, you can lower either to your forearms or to a block. And breathe. Notice how it feels to breathe and be right here in your body. 2 more rounds of breath here. And your final exhalation, beginning to come back to the palms as you ease out of those hips. Heel toeing that left foot back in. And we're going to come into that little flow situation. So just coming forward as you inhale, as you exhale, straightening through that left leg. On your next exhale, bring that left knee back around. So we're going to set up for a longer child's pose, just as a little counter position. So feel free to keep the blanket under your knees. If you'd like a little extra support, I'll be here for a couple minutes. You can bring your folded blanket and your pillow. If you have a bolster, this is a great opportunity for that. If you have a full setup, you can even put some blocks underneath here to really bring that bolster situation up. So feel free to modify it to what you most need. And as you're ready, you can bring those knees a little wide, let those big toes come together. Bring your prop setup really close to your inner groin here, so just letting it make friends with your inner thighs. And then as you're ready, planting your arms on either side, lowering your torso down, letting your gaze come to one side. If you want, you can extend your arms long in front of you. Or you can keep them right at your side, just letting yourself be held here. Inhaling fully and deeply. As you exhale, sigh it out the mouth, let it all go. Letting your inhalation be full and deep. Letting your exhalation be long. On your next exhale, switching your gaze over to the other side. Evening out each side, each facet of your tissues, of your body. Letting yourself be right here in this breath, right here in the very beat of your heart. Noticing which tissues soften, feeling sensations and textures within you. One more deep breath in, big sigh out the mouth. And your next exhale, beginning to bring your palms right underneath your shoulders. And gently beginning to lift your torso up off your props. Bringing your knees back underneath your hips. Take the opportunity here first to move your props back out of the way. Secondly, to step back with the left foot and just begin to rock on the toes, really stretching through your calf, letting that blood supply flow freely and fully. As you exhale, bring that left knee back to the mat, extending the right toes to the back of your mat. Letting yourself find some gentle movement there. And as you exhale, coming back to that tabletop position. And then we're going to stay basically right here, but you're going to tuck your toes and really spread the toes super wide as you bring those heels, the hips back to your heels. And we're going to keep that tuck there. And as you begin to bring your torso back, having your spine stacked up in a straight line, you'll notice some added pressure into those toes. It becomes more of a stretch than simply a leverage position. So bringing your palms to the tips, to the tops of your thighs here. Rest here. If you're noticing that this is pushing to the point of pain, you can come off a little bit either by coming forward or you can bring a block between your thighs. We're going to stretch out the toes and also stretch out our necks. So now that you've got your toes positioned, I'm going to turn towards you so you can have a better view orientation here. And so as we're here just letting our feet decompress a little bit in this position, I'm going to invite you to bring your chin to your chest, really stretching long through the neck, letting the crown of the head go to the front of the room. And then with a lot of slowness, some ease and intention, you're going to gently roll through the neck, bringing the head towards the top, bringing the chin in the air, slowly. Pausing in any areas where you might feel some extra constriction. And then as you exhale, gently coming around the other side. When your chin finally meets your chest one more time, switch directions. And do it one more in either direction. If your toes are absolutely screaming, release them. But if you want to take it, we'll be there just one more breath. Doing one more scrunch of the shoulders up to the ears, down the back. Gently bring your palms out in front of you to release those toes. Just point the toes to the back of the room and let yourself sit back, maybe rocking the hips from side to side. Then we're going to set up for a supported bridge. And so I'm going to invite you to bring either your bolster or pillow, or perhaps even just a folded blanket. If you have a block and like to use the block, you're welcome to do that. Sometimes that's a lot on my sacrum. So I'm going to use the pillow here. And so you're going to come to seated. We're going to keep the extra support of this pillow that we had supporting our knees. You're going to bring the soles of your feet to the mat, slide your hips a little further forward, and gently lower yourself to the ground. Grabbing that extra support, you're going to bring your heels close to your hips, gently lifting the hips towards the sky as you inhale, and as you exhale, letting those hips rest on that pillow. Bring your arms to either side, keeping your feet hip-width distance apart. Let yourself breathe right here, right now. Noticing the effects of the postures we've just moved through. Noticing the sensation and the flow of your breath. Feeling and experiencing 3 more rounds of breath right here, right now. On your next inhalation, gently lifting those hips one more time, removing the support that you have underneath there and just setting it aside for the time being. And finally, the next prop you'll need. I was gonna say the last prop, that's not really true. So you'll want your strap, or you can take a towel or a blanket or a lanyard. And what we want to do is bring the strap around the arch, the ball of that right foot, and extend it up towards the sky. So the point here is not to get your foot to your face, but rather to feel into the edge, that long sacred line of the leg. Feeling that extension really from the psoas, from the sacrum, from the deep pockets of your hip, through up the back of the leg to your tips of your toes. And simply find your edge here. And once you do, breathe. As we invite the breath into those densities and spaces with us, we invite ourselves to be present there. And all this amazing interconnectivity begins to happen, where without effort, we begin to soften the microtissues and the fascia. And so as you hold this position for a couple of moments, you might notice that actually you begin to gain a sense of spaciousness. You gain capacity in that same posture. And so with each inhalation, notice the depth as you fill with the breath. And as you exhale, notice if anything changes. You can adjust to that new depth if you like. But really the name of the game here, as you rest in the sensations and the wave of the breath, that you begin to invite mindfulness and curiosity into all those tissues and layers of your body, of your being. And you simply listen to them. You let yourself receive them and receive yourself as you are. And there's this beautiful untangling that happens in that intention and in that container. More deep round of breath here. As you exhale, switching the strap into the right hand, extend the right foot out to the right side. Again, the point here is not to get your foot to the floor or to break yourself in any way, but rather So notice how the sensation shifts to the inner groin. To find your edge here, and again, be present with it. More deep, full inhalation here. As you exhale, micro bend through that knee and extend that leg back up to the top. Switching the strap to the left leg, bring that right leg just a few inches, maybe 6 inches to, or a foot to the left. So we're not really opening all the way forward, although if that serves you, yogi's choice. But really, we're going to shift that sensation to the outer edge of that right leg. Feeling into the IT band tendon. Again, noticing how the sensation shifts and just meeting ourselves right there. Inhale fully. Exhale, releasing back to the top, bending generously through that right leg. You're unhooking that right foot. Bring the right sole of the foot to the ground. Just windshield wiper through your feet, through your legs. Then bring that left leg in. Bring the strap around the arch of that left foot, extending that to the sky. Finding your edge and letting yourself soften there. Noticing any patterns of your breath, any patterns of sensation, any patterns of thought. And letting go of any story you find there. Let this breath, this heartbeat be enough. Two more rounds of breath here. And switching the strap into that left hand, extend your leg open to the left side. Really keeping those hips square on the mat. And that right hip grounded. Noticing the dance of sensation. Inviting the breath deep and full. On your next exhalation, extending that left foot back up, switching the strap into the right hands and bring it over to the right. Do flex through that left foot. Feel the outer edge of that left leg, where the shin and the calf muscles meet, where your quads and your glutes come together. More deep, full inhalation. As you exhale, extending that leg back up to the sky, bending through that left leg, unhooking the foot. Setting the strap aside, I'm going to begin now to set up for our final resting posture. If you would like to bring your pillow or your bolster underneath the tent of the knees, you can do that. If there is another preference, you can do that. You can even fold the pillow long ways just to create a little more support for the knees if you like. When you find whatever support that you like and you're ready to really let go, I invite you to lift the right shoulder off the mat, slide the shoulder blade down, and then return that right shoulder. Then lift the left shoulder, slide that shoulder blade down. Letting yourself be fully open, arms by your side. As your legs go long, your feet splay open, your palms turn towards the sky, open to receive. In this final posture, we allow ourselves to release and let go of the conscious efforting of the breath in the body. To let ourselves integrate. To let ourselves breathe and be right where we are, just as we are. And to know that it is enough. Once again, I invite you to connect to the wave of your breath, the rhythm and the presence of your heartbeat. Letting yourself fill and open with the breath to be infilled. As you sigh out the mouth, letting it all go. Your next exhale, extending your arms up overhead, feeling the depth and capacity from the tips of your toes through the tips of your fingers. On your next exhale, inviting the knees to come into the chest, hugging those knees, rocking a little from side to side, feeling your sacrum rooted to the earth, and then allowing yourself to fall over to a side of your choice. Pausing there, breathing. In this posture of rebirth, we are reminded that we begin again in every breath. With choice, with sovereignty, with wholeness. Letting your next exhale bring you back to seated in whatever way serves you. Bringing your palms to connect in front of your heart. Left palm in union with right palm. Slight tuck of the chin as you bow towards your heart. Letting yourself remember. Letting yourself remember that you are whole and complete right where you are. That there is brilliance within you in this very heartbeat. Namaste in its simplest form means the light in me honors and acknowledges the light in you. Bringing thumbs to third eye center between the eyebrows and the forehead, bowing forward to seal your practice. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Thank you for joining us here today. We will see you as I awkwardly creep to shut off the camera. Bye, friends. Thanks for joining.